Okay, guys, welcome to the James Tayoro show. Two stories I'm going to be talking to you about today. Firstly, Russia hit by a US made missile, right? After President Biden gives green flag to President Zelensky to use long range US missiles. Now, keep in mind, Biden literally has 62 days left in the White House, left as the President of the United States of America before President elect Trump comes in. Obviously, you know Trump's position on the Ukraine Russia war. Trump clearly wants peace. He's said it many, many times. He wants to put a deal on the table as soon as he has power to. And yeah, it's kind of a little weird that obviously Biden is suddenly given, Ukraine more artillery to attack Russia from different positions, deeper into Russia from the Ukraine. Why not do this 2 years ago? I don't know. I'll give you my take on that. And secondly, we'll be talking about the UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer and his Labour Party becoming even more unpopular than they already were, which is crazy because I didn't think that was possible, but seems to be. But look, right, so to talk about the first story. So personally, I think it's a little strange how Biden has gone, and his whole administration, by the way, let's be real, it's obviously not Joe Biden making his decisions, right? This is the people behind him. You could call it the deep state, you could call it Obama, Pelosi, all these people. It doesn't matter, right? But the reality is, the fact that he's escalating the war now, 62 days away from leaving the office, it seems a little strange. Like, he could have done this before. He could have given them these weapons 2 years ago, 3 years ago. And now he does it 62 days before President Trump comes back into office. And it's pretty clear. Him and Trump have very different positions. But when you think about, a peaceful transfer of power, it seems like when it comes to, okay, you can disagree on policies and you can, go all the way up until the day you leave that office. You can imply, your policies, right? In-house. But when you're talking overseas and you're talking about something that's clearly going to dramatically further escalate a war, it just seems interesting and confusing at the same time and dangerous that he would do this now. Remember, if Trump comes in, the general understanding throughout the whole world, by the way, and I believe on the Ukrainian side and the Russian side, is that when Trump gets into play and gets into office, the war's basically done. That's what people are thinking. I think that's what both sides are anticipating, and I think that this could dramatically change that. Maybe, right, it's because Biden doesn't want Trump to be the guy to just come in and straight away end the war. Maybe he wants a load of Ukrainian bloodshed and Russian bloodshed on Trump's hands, on his administration, technically speaking, because what we've seen now is that it looks like Russia has threatened, according to the big news outlets, whether you trust them or not, it's two different stories, but it looks like Russia has threatened nuclear war now with Ukraine. So you look at, if you're trying to figure out, okay, why did he do this, right? If you're talking 2 years ago, okay, fine, that's okay. Why 2 years ago you say, okay, the Biden administration's position on the Ukraine situation is that they are back in Ukraine. They've given them billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars, right? And they, then start giving them big missiles, US-made missiles. That is somewhat understandable. That is something that you can kind of relate to. You can understand, maybe not relate, but you can understand, and you can say, okay, fair. Maybe I don't agree with it, but I can see your position. Here, it's a completely different story. Right? In 2 months, he'll be gone. Now, what happens in that 2 months, I don't know. And what happens after the 2 months, like, we don't know now. Right? Because what if Russia, basically says, okay, we're going to hit you with full force until Christmas, or until, President Trump comes in, and then that might change Zelensky's mind about a peace deal. Now, I feel like Trump can probably still work it out anyway, but it just seems unnecessary when the war. I mean, look, let's be real. It's a bloody war, and it's a very, very, very bad war. But when you're talking about ramping up the tension, ramping up the heat, in this scenario, literally giving the heat to Ukraine to fire into Russia, it just seems it doesn't add up to me. It doesn't add up to me, and you know who's really behind that decision. I don't know. See, that's the thing that you want to be thinking about, and that's the thing the media are not going to talk. I mean, the media aren't going to do anything other than applaud this decision, but I do think that you want to be thinking about who made that decision. You know, who said to Biden, sign this and give Ukraine that? I don't know. I mean, we know it's not Biden. You know, that's the thing. We know it's not Biden. So then all you can do is wonder who is behind these things. I don't know. You know, and you know, for me personally, in the UK, I'm thinking, well, okay, let's say Russia's serious. Let's say it does get that far. It gets to where they said Trump would take the world, but it looks like Biden's the one doing that, which is World War III, nuclear warfare, all of this and that. If Russia's sending a nuke over, well, how strong is it? How big is it? What's it going to do? What's the damage? What's the surrounding areas going to look like? You know, because we know for a fact that Russia's got North Korean troops deployed to help them on the ground, which means Russia and North Korea are clearly very close. Kim Jong-un, massive nuclear arsenal. You know, what's it going to look like now? Are we looking at a play by the Biden administration where they're forcing the world into a world war that Trump's then going to have to be into, or something that starts when Trump's in office? So then, and look, I'm just spitting ideas out here. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist, but I'm trying to get to the bottom of it. Maybe that is what's happening, where they always say Trump's this, Trump's that, Trump's going to start World War III. That's what they said in 2015 and 2016. That didn't happen. Now maybe they're trying to get into a position where you've got Russia, you've got North Korea, and China, and they're just in a position where, you know, Russia is backed into this corner, and they just go with the big guns, and they've got their two neighbors to help them. So yeah, maybe they're just trying to put in a position where Trump's in office at the beginning of World War III. Twitter's going to go mad. They're going to say that, you know, Trump started World War III. World War III started because of Trump. I don't know. You know, and I just can't think of any other option or any reason to explain other than that. You know, because it is what it is. And look, yes, people are making the argument, right, that these missiles are actually ATACMs. So apparently these are not the biggest of missiles. Apparently this isn't the most advanced weaponry they have, but that's irrelevant. People need to understand that is absolutely irrelevant when it comes to the headline, the story, right? The news in Russia is pretty simple, right? US missile hits Russia, and it's crazy. I mean, it's confirmed to have hit. I don't know how many people are dead, but it's one of them. We're going to see what's going to happen with that. Okay, so also, just moving on to the UK and onto the next story, it looks like Keir Starmer, our UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, wants to supply missiles made from the UK. UK supplied missiles for strikes inside Russia. This is a little bit dangerous, if you ask me, because we are no United States. Let's make that clear. Now, look, do I think England and the UK is the greatest country on the planet? Yes, I love the UK. Otherwise, I would move. I could move. You know, I'm not the type of guy that's forced to live in this country. I have resources to move, but I don't because I love the UK and I think it's the best country. But when you talk about from a military aspect, no. We're not even in the top 3. Okay, so let's get that. We're not even in the top 4. Let's get that straight. Okay, Keir Starmer questioned by Sky News, which left-leaning business, and this is the thing that people don't think about within the UK. You should be very worried when Sky News really starts sort of. I wouldn't call this hammering, but when the Sky News starts asking these sort of questions, you know there's an issue. So this is Keir Starmer being asked about Russia's nuclear warfare threat, and he doesn't seem to be too bothered by it. I don't know why. Really don't know why, but he doesn't seem to be. Here's this video.
Missiles a game changer.
Well, I'm not going to comment.
It's been confirmed. It's been confirmed by Russia that they have landed in their territory.
Beth, you will understand. I'm not going to comment on operational
in
details.
In principle, are the missiles a game changer? In principle.
The reason that I'm not going to comment is, I think, well understood, which is Putin is the winner if we do so, and it will undermine Ukraine, and I'm not prepared to do that.
Just quickly, Russia's also threatened nuclear escalation. Are you comfortable with that when people at home are watching this, worrying that you could put us at risk?
Well, it's very important. It's very important that we're steadfast in our support for Ukraine. Russia is the aggressor,
even
and
if
Russia
it unleashes nuclear war.
Russia has to be the one that makes the move to stop this war. It's within their gift, but we must support Ukraine. It's impacting not just Ukraine; it's impacting the rest of the world, including the UK.
Is your message to viewers back home that there will not be a nuclear war, because that is what Russia is threatening?
Okay, so 2 things about that. Number 1, right? When he says we must not let Putin undermine Ukraine, why? Why? It's not like there's some. This is not the United States we're talking about, right? This isn't a war over who's stronger. Like there's no debate around that. Everyone knows that Russia is far superior to Ukraine. So the fact that we are worried about undermining Ukraine, that seems kind of crazy to me. Secondly, you think about the way he was asked about the nuclear warfare, he didn't even seem to care about it. So either he is absolutely positive that won't happen, or he's kind of scared about it and that's why he won't comment on it. I don't know. But what I can tell you, right, is that this guy is not liked at all. Okay, first let's laugh at this video before I move into the farmer story. Let's laugh at this video of Keir Starmer boxing. This is just, I don't even know what this is.
And just try and whack it. Yes, this is good. And again. That's it. And again. Try and breathe. Relax. That's it.
Let's just watch that again. Oh my God. Let's one more time.
And just try and whack it. Yes, this is good. And again. That's it. And again. Try and breathe. Relax. That's it.
So, quickly, right? Serious question. Do you think that's real, or do you reckon that, because my position, right, is it seems crazy to me that a grown man punches like that. I don't understand. Surely you just punch. Like, I'm not saying it has to be like Mayweather precision and technique, right? Or any boxer, any fight. You know what I mean? It don't have to be Mayweather. It don't have to be fucking Mike Tyson. It don't have to be fucking Bivol. It doesn't matter. But surely you can actually punch with power, or is this something that like UK? I've noticed this especially in England. It's like these British prime ministers, they're so fucking soft, and I don't know. Is it like an act they put on? Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, is this actually them, or do they just pretend that they can't throw hands because they want to look soft and they don't want to look too aggressive? Because that's someone in the UK, for some reason, the politicians want to look as soft as possible. Personally, I think that's a big mistake, right? You want to look tough. You want to look strong. It's crazy to me. I don't know, but and keep in mind, by the way, a lot of these people, they have like kids and shit. That's someone's dad punching a thing like that. It's crazy. Surely that has to be fake. I mean, I know he's a fucking soppy little pussy, and a disgrace of a man, and a weak man. He's pathetic basically in every single way. Power hungry man. Aspirations of being prime minister his whole life, which, by the way, is one of the most dangerous things in a person. Is basically the Labour Party have now applied inheritance tax to farmers, right? Which essentially means that when, let's say you're a young farmer, you inherit some land, right? You inherit a farm from your father or whatever, and then essentially what happens is you have to pay inheritance tax, right? Which means financially, that is going to absolutely kill you, right? Which means you probably won't be able to afford your land, which means you're probably going to be forced to sell, right? Here is the people in the UK. This is the streets of London, absolutely flooded. Protesters.
Give us a cheer! Give us a cheer!
Okay, now personally, guys, when it comes to the farming situation, I am 100% support of farmers. I've got family in the UK, very close family, living the farm life on a farm in the UK. I don't know if they were at these protests or not. I'd imagine not, because, you know, when there's only a few of you on a farm, a lot of you will know you can't leave. That's your life. Have to be on the farm every single day. Tending to the animal. Well, it actually depends what you do on the farm, but for them, tending to the animals and everything. Quickly, I'm going to play two clips from Jeremy Clarkson. So the first clip is, this is a BBC journalist sort of trying to, I guess, who was against all the protesters. From the sounds of it, seems like she very much agrees with the inheritance tax and everything. But what I was going to say is, afterwards, I'm going to play another clip by Clarkson, and that, I think, will give a lot of you guys who sort of don't understand the situation, it will give you some real light and just show you exactly what the budget has done and why these guys are protesting. And I think if you hear it from a farmer, and I respect Clarkson, by the way, so I think that this is the right guy. I think it's the right guy to hear it from. So I'm gonna play both videos. Hope you enjoy it.
So why are you here, Mr. Clarkson?
Well, because I'm here to support farmers.
Right. Are you angry?
It's difficult to be angry on somebody else's behalf. That's like being... Yes, no, I'm not angry on someone else's behalf.
Right. So it's not about you. It's not about your farm and the fact that you bought a farm to avoid inheritance tax.
Classic BBC there. Classic.
Is it?
Oh yeah. It's not the fact that I bought a farm to avoid inheritance tax. The fact.
You told the Sunday Times in 2021 that's why you bought it.
These people.
Sorry?
BBC. Okay, let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
I wanted a shoot. Okay? That's even worse to the BBC. I wanted a shoot, which comes with the benefit of not having to pay inheritance tax. Now I do. But people like me will simply put it in a trust. And so long as I live for 7 years, that's fine. And as my daughter said, you will live for 7 years. You might be in a deep freeze at the end of it, but you will live for 7 years. But it's incredibly time-consuming to have to do that. And why should all these people have to do that? Why should they?
So one of the reasons Rachel Reeves says she brought this in is to stop wealthy people using it as a way
No,
of
that was the only reason she did.
Well, no, the other reason was to raise money for public services. Well, have you seen...
Are you listening to this?
Have you tried to get a GP appointment lately?
Yes,
Right.
I just recently had a heart attack.
Okay, so you know it's tough.
Yes.
So where should they get the money from if it's not from farmers?
From farmers. You hear that, everyone?
With
BBC
assets.
thinks you should be paying for everything.
Mr. Clark,
okay,
you
do you
it's
know
not the
how many
BBC
people
scheme.
pay inheritance tax in this country?
It's 4% of estates.
What?
4% of estates.
4% pay inheritance tax. 96% of the population of the UK does not pay inheritance tax.
Sure.
After this becomes law, 96% of farmers will.
Where have you got that figure from?
Who here, can I just ask, who here is going to be unaffected by these changes? No one.
Right. Where have you got
I
the
know.
96% figure
Well,
from?
you've got 96%. Well, the same place that Rachel Reeves does, from the middle of her head.
Right.
From the Sixth Form Debating Society that she was no doubt a member of.
Okay.
Which
So-
formed her opinions and yours.
I am not expressing opinions. I'm
Yes.
literally asking you questions. You know that, Mr. Clarkson.
Right.
So, what is your message to this government?
Please back down, please.
And get the money from where?
Well, they've got 40 billion. I'll tell you where you get the. Walk into any of the offices around here. If you don't understand what somebody's job is, fire them.
And how
The civil
far-
service. Civil service is too top. You know that. I must get on.
Okay, couple good points there. Number one, right? He talks about going into the offices and someone can't tell you what their job is. If someone can't tell you what their job is, fire them. Actually, why don't we just do that within the government? Right? Why don't we start trimming some of the fat within the government? Because a lot of those guys are in there. We don't know what they're doing, right? What's their job? Why are they getting our money? You know, that's not a bad idea. Secondly, just to address her position, right, when she says where are they supposed to get the money from, the money goes to the NHS, well, and the public services, right? Well, like we said at the beginning of the conversation, we're talking about Ukraine at the beginning of this episode. How about all the money we send to Ukraine? And the promises we've given to them. Why are we doing that? Right, the amount of money we are giving to Ukraine is an absolute joke. Why are we not giving that to the NHS? If the NHS is in the toilet, and I'm not disagreeing with that, but if the NHS is in the toilet and we need more money for it, why are we not getting it from the money we're sending overseas? Why are we taking it from our people? It's crazy. And by the way, you go onto and this is government website, open, you know, this is anyone can see this, just Google it. Go on the www.gov.uk/government/publication/UK support UK Ukraine fact sheet, right? You see. This is the UK bragging about it, by the way. Bragging about it. In total, UK has committed 12.8 billion to Ukraine, 7.8 billion in military support, and 5 billion in non-military support. So why didn't we just spend that within our own country? You know, why didn't we do that? Again, talk about climate change. The money they spent on climate change. You know? How about, I'll tell you what, all that ULEZ money and all the congestion charge money, why didn't we send that to the NHS? All of it. Every single penny. Well, I don't know why they didn't. Now, I don't even know if do any of you guys know what the UK ICF is? Okay, so this is, again, on the government website, accessible, www.gov.uk/guidance/international climate finance, right? The UK International Climate Finance, ICF, plays a crucial role in addressing the global challenge. The UK has committed to spending 11.6 billion of ICF between 2021 and 2026, ensuring a balance between adaptation and migration. This includes up to 1 billion to support clean energy research, development and demonstration, at least 3 billion on protecting, restoring and sustaining managing nature, with 1.5 billion on forests, and the UK will also treble our adaptation spending from 0.5 billion in 2019 to 1.5 billion in 2025. The UK ICF is officially development assistance, ODA, and 4 government departments have responsibility for investing ICF. Foreign Commonwealth Development and Office, Development for Energy Security and Net Zero, Department for Environment, Food and Rural Affairs, Department of Science, Innovation and Technology. Now, 11.6 billion within 5 years. Do the maths on that. Why wasn't that given to the NHS? By the way, because this is the thing that people don't. It's like a lot of these people who live in that sort of bubble, right? Especially the government bubble. It's almost as bad as celebrity bubble. A lot of them just cannot relate. They cannot relate to normal people, or actually not even normal people. I'm not just talking financially. They just can't relate to people. They can't understand that your problems are not the same as their problems, right? Because everything in their life is sorted for them. They've got security. Most of these MPs have security. Most of these people have got, good money coming in. Their kids go to great schools. They don't have to worry about food. They cannot relate. So they see these things that we don't see as issues, right? The climate change and the Ukraine.